Hey. Welcome to Tea Talks with Tawan. I want to thank everybody who joins us. If this is your first time and you've never been to Tea Talks, let me just tell you a little bit about what Tea Talks is. When you come here, we're giving you a little TLC. We believe everybody needs a little TLC. So when you come to Tea Talks, we're going to be giving you some transformational lifestyle content to help you with becoming your best self and creating your best life. There's nothing like investing in yourself, pouring into you. You are your greatest asset. And when you come to Tea Talks, we're giving you some personal development to help you on your journey of your professional and your personal journey. So if you don't know me, I am Tawan Lowe. I am your transformational lifestyle coach and consultant, and I'm here to give you some tea. You see that sign up there, or that way it says, let's spill some tea. So I'm going to be spilling some tea, and I'm always spilling tea on personal development topics, again, that will help you with your goals of just becoming and evolving into the best person that you could possibly be. Now, if this is your first time to Tea Talks, it's a couple of rules that I need to tell you. First of all, you need to have a pencil and some paper and your favorite tea or your favorite drink, and sit back and relax. I'm definitely going to be spilling some good tea, giving you some good gems that you always can walk away with and start implementing as soon as possible. So I'm going to give you a half a second. Hopefully you got your pencil, you got your paper, you got your favorite drink, and you're ready to get started. Now, if you joined us the last time we were here, we were talking about finishing strong. And one of the things about finishing strong, it comes at the last quarter of the year. And generally at the last quarter, this is like kind of being in a race. And then when you get to the last part of the race, you're kind of losing your breath, you're losing your energy, you're tired, and you just don't have all the steam needed to keep pushing. So today, what I want to talk about is how to remotivate yourself. Because sometimes we all need to get re-energized and remotivated because we're fighting this race. We're just steady pushing and we're just steady moving along. So we need to definitely figure out, how do we keep pushing? How do we motivate ourselves? And I don't know where you're from, who's joining us. I see some thumbs up. I just want to say hello, whether you're joining us from Facebook or you're joining us from YouTube. If this is your first time, please subscribe, hit that little button, subscribe, so you can come on. And so you'll know when I'm coming on, so you don't miss any of this TLC, because everybody needs a little TLC. So what we're talking about today, we're talking about how to self-motivate yourself when you find out that you're running out of steam. And we all run out of steam. Let's be very clear. We all get tired, don't want to keep pushing, don't want to keep moving forward towards the goal. Why it's very important to us. We all just get to a point where we're like this. I just don't have no more in me. However, when you are a go-getter, when you are a hustler, or you are a high achiever and a high performer, giving up is not an option. You have to keep pushing. And those are the times when you have to know how to motivate yourself. If you follow me, if you ever listen to anything that I've ever said, we cannot always depend on other people to motivate us unless you're paying for a coach, or unless you have a mentor, someone who steps into that role and will be responsible for motivating and encouraging you. Now, if you're one of those persons who don't have either of those, I recommend that everybody should have some type of coach and a mentor. Yes, you should have both. But if you're a person who do not have them, these are some tips that you can follow. But what I want to talk about first and foremost is, what does it really mean to not be motivated? And it means that you don't have the oomph, you don't have that energy, you don't have what it takes to keep moving forward. You have become demotivated, and something has caused you to become demotivated. And I want to look at least one or three things, or at least three things that will make you demotivated. Now, one of the first things I'm going to talk about, because it's just one of the greatest issues that really keep people from moving forward in anything, and that's fear. Fear will always demotivate you. Fear will cause you. Oh, hello, Brian Keith. I'm supporting you because there's too many of us Black owners in business for ourselves. I just want to know you have a supporter. Well, thank you, Mr. Hill, and I appreciate that. And we all do need some support from time to time, or all the time, really. So I thank you and I appreciate you. Tell me where you from too, Mr. Hill. But fear, I'm challenged, yet inspired to support my people. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Fear. Fear will always demotivate you. It will keep you stuck where you are, keeping you from moving in any direction, from taking any steps. And usually when we're in this last quarter and we feel like we may not hit our mark, a lot of times fear will take over. The fear of not achieving our goals, especially if you're into sales or you have your own business and you have set a certain goal to make a certain amount of money, to sell a certain amount of products. And if you feel like you're not going to get that, fear will kick in, and sometimes fear has the ability to paralyze us and keep us stuck and keep us from moving forward to taking the steps necessary to get us to that next step. So fear, you got to figure out how to debunk the fear that you have. Where's the fear coming from? And how can you navigate outside of that fear so you can take the steps necessary? And believe it or not, a lot of people say, oh, it's not that serious. When we're talking about fear, it really is serious. Fear will keep people from ever trying. And fear will cause people to quit when they're in the midst of getting they right at the edge of getting across that threshold, and fear will stop them because sometimes we're more comfortable with the fear and with the failure than we are with the faith that we can continue to move forward and we can make it happen. And I just want to encourage you, even if it looks like you're not going to obtain your goal, you keep pushing for the goal because you find greater confidence in saying I kept pushing than you do in quitting. So fear is one of the things that demotivate us. And you're from California. Okay, so you're a couple of hours behind us. Another thing that keeps us demotivated, setting the wrong goals. A lot of us set the wrong goals, and where you're not working towards those things that working towards goals that align with your core values that are important to you, you don't take much interest in them. So you get demotivated very, very quickly. So look at your goals. Are you still working towards the things that are important to you? If you're not, it's okay to reevaluate where you are and to decide, okay, maybe I need to be working on something else. Life happens. Sometimes our goals have to shift. You get married, you have a baby, you get sick. Sometimes things will shift your goals. So is the goal still important to you? And is it still enough for you to keep pushing and moving forward? Because if your goals are not exciting you, it's not causing you to get up in the morning and make you excited about what you do. If it's not pushing you towards your why, then you definitely need to look at your goals and see if it's still important to you. And if it's still important to you, then you need to dig a little deeper and find out why you're not pursuing and moving towards your goals. Because a lot of times we just give up. I'm going to go back to that. When we get demotivated, we just be like, oh, this is not important to me. Why is it not important to you? Evaluation, self-evaluation, business evaluation, looking at your goals, all these things, all these type of assessments are important because this is what keeps you on track. This is what motivates you, and it's always tied to your why. So you need to know and understand, why are you getting demotivated, and how can you move outside of that mindset and that space. This is one very big one, especially at this time of year, burnout. There are so many people who are just burned out. They don't have much left in them physically, mentally, or emotionally. And so they burn out and they just don't have that drive that they used to have to keep pushing and to keep going for their goals, their dreams, or whatever it is that they're pushing towards. So burnout is a big one when it comes to why are you demotivated. And burnout generally happens a lot, especially to those individuals who are high performers and high achievers and big hustlers, because they keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And one of the things they don't do is make time for themselves. Now, I know you're saying, well, I'm working on my goals, so that is something for me, but there needs to be some playtime. There needs to be some time that you step back and you re-energize and you refuel yourself so that you don't have to experience burnout, and that you can keep pushing and that you can keep moving towards your goals. So if you're feeling unmotivated, think about what is the reason why you are feeling unmotivated. You need to find your itch. What is that thing that is causing you not to want to move forward? Because when we get in that space, okay, I talked about fear. I talked about not having the right goal. I talked about burnout, but there's some other things too that causes us not to work or to get unmotivated and not to keep pushing towards our goals. So I want you to think about, what is your itch and what do you need to do to kind of scratch that itch so you can move forward. Um, Hello, Gail. How are you? Uh, Drop in the comments if you've ever been unmotivated and what caused you to be unmotivated. It might not have been these three things that I talked about, because I just wanted to hit on a few things that causes us to be unmotivated. But there's a myriad of things for why we get unmotivated. Sometimes, especially the pressure when you get to the end of the year and you're trying to finish strong. Sometimes just the stress of trying to finish strong will kind of make you lose motivation, because you all you're thinking about is, I got to get across the finish line. I got to get across the finish line, and it starts to cause anxiety. It starts to cause you to think differently. Depression can be one of those reasons why you don't, why you get unmotivated. Poor time management. Oh yes, without a doubt, when you do not utilize your time properly, when you don't map out your day. One of the things that I always tell my clients, when I'm working with them, is you need to set the tone for the day. You need to set your schedule for the things you're going to do. Everybody needs a to-do list. So you know the things that you need to be working on. You need to know how much time you're going to spend on. If you know that you need to be sending out a newsletter every Tuesday, are you working that on Monday? Are you getting it done? How much time does it take you to get that done? If you know you need to be doing follow-up phone calls with your clients, how much time do you set aside for that? You need to set the time for what you need to do. And then in managing that time and looking at your task and how much time it is going to take to do it, you also need to put some time in there for yourself. You need to put some time in to get up, to walk, to make sure you eat and make sure that you have lunch, because that also prevents you from burnout. Because sometimes when we just sit at the desk and we're just pounding, 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 that causes us to just kind of burn out. We just sitting there, just feel like we're not doing anything else. And we need to have a little bit of variety in our day. We need to break up the monotony. Sometimes you just can't sit at your desk for 8 hours just working and just pounding away. Sometimes you need to get up. You need those distractions sometimes. There are good distractions and there are bad distractions. And sometimes we need distractions. This happened to me today, no lunch. Well, let me do, okay, so, and that's good. That happens to a lot. I have looked up sometimes and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's 3:00. I haven't eaten breakfast, nor have I eaten lunch. Now, I might have had something to drink, but I haven't eaten breakfast and I have not eaten lunch. And guess what that does? When you don't eat, you don't give your body the fuel it needs. And then you start to lose motivation because of that, because then you start thinking about your hunger, you start thinking about other things, and then you can't focus, because when you don't feed your body the fuel it needs, it starts to slow down. And when your body starts to slow down, that also causes you to become demotivated. So, Gail, and all the people like me and Gail, we need to eat. Yes, we need to make sure we have breakfast. That's the most essential meal of the day. We need to make sure that we're eating lunch, and we need to make sure that we're giving ourselves some time. So I'm going to step away for a while, for a minute, and I'm going to bring in a commercial from our sponsor, Tea Lovers Cafe. And when we come back, we're going to talk about a couple of things that you can do to remotivate yourself and keep pushing and moving towards this. So we will be back in just a few seconds. Ain't the one I want to show. The show. I'm telling y'all, I'm not doing good with this today, but I want to thank our sponsor, Tea Lover Cafe. If you have not tried them, this is a Black-owned tea company. They sell all premium loose leaf tea. The tea is excellent. I drink it all the time. So I want to highly recommend, if you have not tried Tea Lovers Cafe, that you do try tea. That you do try it. It could be one of the things that you use to get you back motivated. Actually, sometimes just sitting back, drinking a warm mug of tea or coffee, whatever your choice of drink is, and sometimes just relaxing can help remotivate you. So we talked about a couple of reasons for why we get demotivated. We talked about being burnt out. We talked about not having the right goals, and we talked about fear, which is three big issues for why most of us get demotivated. But there also are some other reasons why we get demotivated. Like I said, there could be depression around this time of the year, especially. There's a lot of grief because of loss and not having family members here, and it takes your mindset to another place. But I want to talk about, how do we get remotivated? And one of the things I want to talk about, it kind of fits in with one of the ones I said that causes us to be demotivated, and that was fear. And I talked about how you have to deconstruct. So I want to talk about deconstructing fear. Fear, and I got to stay on fear because fear is one of those emotions and one of those things that really keep us from moving forward in the things that we would have for ourselves and the things that we want for our lives. So you got to learn how to deconstruct your fear. And when I say deconstruct your fear, this is what I mean. What are you fearful for? Where did the fear come from? And is the fear real? Because sometimes we are fearful of things that are not real. They One of the meanings they say of fear is false evidence appearing real. I like to call it false evidence altering our reality. But you have to deconstruct your fear. Are you fearful of success? So, because being fearful of success will make you stop. It will demotivate you. It will make you stop taking action and moving forward towards your goals and aspirations that you have. Fear of failure will make you stop. So you need to deconstruct that. Why am I scared of failure? What do I believe and understand about failure that will make me fearful about moving forward? Because failure is really a part for the course. I mean, everybody has failed. Nobody has been perfect at everything. And failure is a good teacher. It teaches us what works and what doesn't work. So sometimes we get so caught up in not wanting to fail, and sometimes failure are the lessons that we need to keep pushing us forward. So if fear is one of the things that is keeping you from being motivated and keeping you from moving forward, deconstruct that fear. Look at that fear. Pull the layers back on it and figure out, where did the fear come from? Is the fear really real? Is the threat that you're feeling and thinking, is that a real threat? And even if it is a real threat, can you still push past it and get to the end goal of your dreams and aspiration? Because that's important. Because, there's a lot of fears. Sometimes we just have to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. You have to fight for the things that you want, and you have to fight your fear. So learn how to deconstruct your fear. Oh, thank you, Gail. She said, I love Tea Lovers Cafe Tea. Tell us what you love about it. Nah, just messing with you. I know, but my day got away from me. Oh, about the lunch. Yes, make sure you eat lunch. Put some motivation in your ear. This is an excellent way to kind of remotivate yourself. Okay, what do you mean by put some motivation in your ear? It can be music. It could be a podcast. It could be whatever that uplifts you, something that speaks and resonates with you. I personally, in the morning, after I do my prayer and meditation, I generally turn on Pandora, and I listen to like 3 different stations. But the first station I listen to is called Shekinah Glory. And I listen to that for probably 65% of the day. And I listen to it because I like hearing positive songs. And they're gospel. I like hearing the gospel songs. It speaks to my spirit. It speaks to, sometimes if I'm feeling a little uneasy, different songs minister to me. So what I put in my ear gates is important, because I find myself getting re-energized and by listening to the words, re-engaged, and it motivates me. Sometimes I listen to some of my favorite podcasts. I just need to hear something about push and keep moving forward, or whatever it is that I'm feeling. I go find a podcast session on it and I listen to that, and it re-energizes me and it motivates me, and it makes me remember my why sometimes, because sometimes we get so caught up in what we're doing, get caught up in the feeling of not being motivated, that we don't even stop to think about our why. So what we let into our ear gates can be very helpful. So what do you use? What can you listen to that can help motivate you and keep you moving? And sometimes you got to do it every day. Like I said, every morning, this is a practice for me. It is one of my it actually is one of my success habits, believe it or not, what I put in my ear gates, because the things that we take in, it sets our mindset. I could turn on and listen to some Jodeci, or are they even a group? But listen to something that does not feed my spirit, does not speak to where I'm trying to go in my life, does not motivate me. So put something that motivates you in your ear. Disable the distractions. Whoo, distractions will come. It's just part for the course. There will always be distractions, but you have to be prepared to deal with the distractions. Sometimes you got to take the phone, turn the ringer off, because you have things that you need to work on and that you need to do. You can't be on social media all day. Those are distractions. And those distractions, you get so caught up in the distractions that you lose focus, and your attention and your motivation for the things that you should be focusing on shifts. So you have to be clear about that there are distractions, and you have to know what are those things that really distract you and will deter you and move you in another direction. I am very clear about, I don't go on social media during the middle of the day. I'll go on social media. I might see something I like. Then I might see an ad. Then I go chasing the ad. And then I go back and then I'll look at somebody's page, and then I'm liking and I'm commenting. And then I look up, and I have been on social media almost for 30 to 40 minutes. And literally, I cannot afford to be on social media for 30, 40 minutes, because that time and energy needs to be put somewhere else into my business. Now, I'm going to tell you what the new devil is. It might not be you all's devil, but it's definitely one of mine. And I try not to do it till late at night when it's time for me to go to sleep. And I'm even stopping that now, because it has become a distraction in me going to sleep at night. And that's TikTok. I I don't know what it is about TikTok that is so addictive, but I can get on TikTok at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock at night, and I look up and it's 2 o'clock in the morning. And that is a total distraction, because when you are a high performer, a high achiever, a hustler, and a go-getter, sleep is important. Sleep is important because you need to wake up refreshed. You need to wake up ready to tackle your day. So you can't really afford to be losing sleep, especially watching something as mindless as TikTok, if it is not contributing to your best interest for yourself, if it's not aiding in your progress, and if it's not edifying and empowering you to be a better person and or to help you professionally. Now, there are some things on TikTok that can, because there are coaches. I'm on TikTok. I have videos on TikTok. I have friends who are coaches and do things who have videos on TikToks, and I watch theirs too. But I'm watching to learn. But the other stuff that I'm watching, sometimes it's just senseless. It's a waste of my time, and it demotivates me. It really does. It takes away and it distracts me. So think about the things that distract you. I just told you social media is one of my distractions. Gail said it can suck you in. Yes, it really can. Because there's some things on there that are funny. Because sometimes after you have a long day, you just want some mindless stuff to watch. You just have to be careful about how long and how much time that you spend in it. Because, like I said, it can be 2 hours. But really, if I got 2 hours to give the TikTok, I got 2 hours where I can be working on something for my client for the next day. I can be working on the next chapter of my book, whatever that I'm working on for my business. I can be giving that time there, or I can be sleep, re-energizing my body. So when I get up, I feel refreshed and I'm motivated to do and to tackle the task that I have for me. So we talked about deconstruct your fear, put some motivation in your ear, disable your distractions. I even talked about just find your itch. I said that right before we went on to the commercial. Find your itch. What are those triggers? What are those things that keep you from wanting to move forward? What is it? I really always ask my clients when they say, I just don't feel motivated. I just don't. And when we run through, are you burnt out? Is it fear? We look at their goals. When we start talking about other things, is it grief? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling lonely? Are you feeling depressed? What is going on in your life? What is causing you not to move? What is making you unmotivated, especially when you're unmotivated about life, about your goals, and about everything? You definitely need to find what that itch is so that you can scratch it and take care of it, so that it no longer turns into a issue that keeps you from existing the way you're supposed to, living and going towards your goals. The last thing I want to talk about for motivating yourself is your reward system. You should have some type of reward system for when you hit those victories. I don't care if it's the smallest victory or if it's the big victory. You should always have a way to motivate yourself with an reward. And a lot of times we hit all of these plateaus and we make these amazing accomplishments, but we never reward ourselves. And the reward really is the fuel sometimes to keep us going, that said you did it and you gave yourself something. You did that pat on your back. You went and bought yourself that cup of Tea Lovers Cafe tea, or you went to Starbucks and got you some tea. Whatever you did, you bought a pair of new shoes, you bought you a helmet for your bike. You did something to reward yourself. And that is important because that feeds the brain. It reminds us of the successes that we have achieved, and it boosts our confidence. And as it boosts our confidence, it's also giving us motivation to keep going. So remember, your reward, how you reward yourself, is key as well. I just want to say that we all get unmotivated, demotivated from time to time. Nobody walks around here always on super high, always ready to jump in and do everything. We're getting close to the end of the year. We're running out of steam, especially again when you're a high performer, high achiever, and you want to keep going. But sometimes you just kind of in the race, you slow down, you lose your breath, and it's okay. Sometimes we need to slow down. Sometimes when we're demotivated, it's not necessarily that we don't want to do it. It may be a way of your body talking to you, saying that you need to rest. Whatever the case may be, if you find yourself in a situation where you don't feel motivated, I do ask that you talk to a friend, a close friend, somebody who's a go getter like you, somebody who's a high achiever, and talk to your peers and just say, hey, what do you do when this happens to you? Earlier, I said that everybody should have a coach and a mentor. If you have a coach and a mentor, those are an excellent person to go talk to and say to them, hey, look, this is what's going on with me. I'm not feeling motivated, and maybe they can help you. And if you find out that your motivation is taking you into other places, then I will recommend that maybe you go get some professional help and have somebody to kind of help you look at it and help you peel back the layers and find out what's going on with you, because the goal is always to live your best life. And part of living your best life is not being unmotivated so you can go for your dreams and aspirations. I want to thank you for being here with me today on Tea Talks. I hope you join me on next Monday. I hope you hit that subscribe button. If you did not, please do so you can know when I'm coming on. Remember, everybody needs a little TLC. What I'm talking about, that's that transformational lifestyle content that will help you with becoming your best self and creating your best life. I want to say, stay motivated, keep pushing and chasing for your dreams. Until next time, have a good one.